Good Monday morning, good motivational Monday morning. And I'm going to start things off with a quote morning from Jeremy McGilvery. He's a Harvard grad and author. And the quote is this: Life is the most difficult exam. Most people, many people actually, fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. Many people fail because they try to copy others, not realizing that everyone has a different question paper. We're going to unpack that here this morning and talk about what that means for you and your voiceover career. My name is Bill DeWeese. I am a professional voiceover talent, and I've been working from home for the past 17 years, recording for everybody and their brother in every genre imaginable in voiceover. So it's what I love to do. And in addition to that, I coach and I teach other people how to be successful, meaning how to make money in voiceover. So let's talk about this. Most people fail because they try to copy others. Does that mean that we shouldn't try to emulate the people that we admire? Well, no. And I've talked about this before, but I think it's worth mentioning again. And that is that copying is part of the developmental process. Regardless of what, think about it. When we were born, we were kids. How did we know what to do, how to interact, how to do the things that we needed to do and learn the things we needed to learn? Well, we watched other people and we copied what they did. But eventually, we began to develop our own personalities, understand who we were, develop our own voice. What I mean voice, I don't mean physically necessarily, but the way we think, the way we see the world, the way we feel about things. We began to express ourselves in a uniquely different way. Same thing, let's say if you're a musician, piano, guitar, whatever, when you first start learning, you have your heroes, the people that you admire, that you listen to, that you want to sound like. And trying to emulate them is part of the developmental process. But eventually, if you want to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and be recognized as a legitimate artist within that particular arena, then you have to develop your own voice, your own point of view, your own way of expressing yourself. And it is the same way in voiceover. So if you're very early on in the process, certainly there's nothing wrong with listening to other people and trying to emulate them. I did the same thing early on in my career. But here's the thing. If you want to create a long-term sustainable career in voiceover, it's all about finding you. And the great news is you've already got it. So if you want to be motivated on this Monday morning, know that you've got what it takes. Let me give you another example. I remember, back in the day, I worked in radio for a very long time. And my daughter did as well for a while. And then she went on to work in the music industry, specifically the recording industry. And I cannot tell you how many times, and I'm sure she would share the same story from her perspective, but I can't tell you how many times people came to me with like a demo tape and said, "Hey, I sound exactly like fill in the blank, name the artist, name the band." And so they were looking for a connect with somebody in A&R at a major record label because they sounded just like fill in the blank. Well, the sad news was this: nobody's looking for another fill in the blank because that person, that band already exists. Plus, even if you did a good imitation of that person or that band, it would at best be a cheap imitation of something that's genuine. So the question is not who can you sound like? The question is, who are you? What is your voice? What's your worldview? What's your personality? And I'll be honest with you, I think the biggest obstacle in voiceover is learning to be you behind this microphone. Because there's a psychology to being in this studio behind this microphone that tends to work against you doing the very thing that is that you need to do. You know, put you in the context with, a boyfriend, girlfriend, your spouse, your kids, people you know, you love, and you're with them and you're in a situation. You have no problem being you and expressing you and who you are because you're in context. But in a booth with nobody there, and you have to manufacture that scenario, but be genuinely you at the same time. That's no small task. And it certainly takes work. But here's the thing, that is what's required. Marketing aside, the technical aspects aside, from a performance standpoint, that if you want to succeed long-term in voiceover, It's about stripping back the layers of who you think you should be, who you think people want you to sound like, and to honestly express you within the context of a script. And here's the other good news. You can do it. It can be done, and it's done all the time. Does it require work? Absolutely. It requires work. It requires a lot of work, and it's a process, and it doesn't happen overnight. But to get there, you need the right information and the right guidance. But again, people who are copycats, imitators. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being able to emulate somebody's voice, and you might make some money, doing that. There's demand for that. But to create a long-term sustainable career, it's about being you. Nobody else, just you. Here's some good news for you. In addition to that, I actually have a class coming up later this month that deals with this very issue. And it's called Secrets of Voiceover Self-Direction. And it's all about learning how to get yourself to be yourself in the behind a microphone in a studio. And there's a process to it. There's some things you need to understand. There's some strategies that you can utilize. But that's what I'm going to be teaching you in this class, is how to be the most genuine you, which is going to make you the most marketable you when you're in that booth behind that microphone. That's coming up March the 21st. And you can't register yet. We're going to launch this here within the next few days. So stay tuned for that when that opportunity comes. It's going to be a limited class of just 100 people, as we limit all the classes to 100 people so that we can have plenty of interaction with those that are there. But it is coming very soon. Again, I'll let you know as soon as you're able to sign up for that. But make a note of that, March 21st. That's a Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I am so glad that you're here this morning. I always appreciate it when you tune in to the Morning Huddle and you're part of this great group of voiceover talent that get together to share a thought, a tip, a strategy to help you to be successful in voiceover. And I'm going to do a little roll call here. We've got quite a few on here, so I'm going to kind of move quickly. Got Ty in Warsaw, Indiana. He's pumped today for Motivational Monday. Awesome. Hey, Mark in Albuquerque, how are you doing? Janet in Florida, John in the far west Chicago suburbs, Matt in Brunswick, New Jersey, Sandra, Dallas-Fort Worth, David, Lexington, Kentucky, Phil in Tokyo. Marvelous Monday to you as well. Hey, Craig, how are you doing? Melissa in San Diego, Bob's in Reidsville, North Carolina, Wade in Philadelphia. Good morning to you. Jason in Mobile, Alabama, JP in Atlanta. What's up, JP? Hey, Wayne in Olympic Mountains, John in Atlanta, Neil in Fairfield, Amanda in Alabama. We've got Jerry in Redlands, California. Oh, you're up early, Jerry. Hey, Luke in Ankara, Turkey. James in South Africa. Tanya in South Philly. From South Africa to South Philly. And James, good morning to you. Michelle, North Carolina. Matt in Orlando. We've got AJB in Louisville, Kentucky. Tucson, Arizona. Patrick in Maryland. Hey, Jason, how are you doing? And also, let's see. Oh, Jason's in Ewan, New York. Hope I pronounced that right, Jason. Tim in Altoona. Gregory, good morning to you. Ringgold, Georgia. Osaka, Japan in the house this morning. Good morning, or good evening, I should say. Excuse me, Chad in Daytona Beach, Florida. Good morning. Hey, Aaron in Boston. How are you doing? Tulsa, Oklahoma's here this morning. James, Indianapolis, and a good motivational Monday to you, Michelle. Hey, Tess, how are you doing in Tequila, Georgia? Excited to start the new week as you. Tess, fantastic. Because, we're always best at being ourselves. Like it or not, we're always best at being ourselves. Hey, JR in Austin. Kate in Smyrna, Georgia. John in Rhinebeck, New York. Steve in Pembroke Pines, Florida. Sandra in Westerville, Ohio. That's the city where 2 of my 3 children were born. Doug in McGraw. Oh, Doug McGraw in Owensboro, North Carolina. Sorry, Doug. Good morning. Carlin, my voice debuted on the radio this weekend. It was a station in the UK. Carlin, that is awesome. It's surreal when that happens. And I'll never forget the first time I heard my voice. This was actually prior to my voiceover career. This is my start of my radio career. I just started working at a radio station. And it was a commercial I had recorded. I remember where I was at when it happened. I mean, I was like 20, maybe 21 years old at the time. And when I heard it, I was just, I mean, the excitement is beyond compare. So, Carl Lynn, congratulations. We celebrate that with you this morning. Hey, Meryl, good morning to you. Hope you had a good weekend. Jolie, more snow, so 2 hour late start today for school. Yay. Wow. We've got Brian, Ohio in the house. James, asking the question, will the class that I'm talking about, the self-performance or self-direction class, be available after the fact? No, it will be. All of my classes, they're all recorded. So whether you are there live or not, you can have continual access to that class afterwards. So if you miss it, you can watch it later. If you're there, you can watch it later, over and over again, whenever you want, for as long as you want. Hey, Cindy, good morning to you. And you have a voiceover on YouTube. Awesome. Yeah, I bet that was pretty cool to hear. There are a few things more exciting, that is for sure. Eric in Richmond, Texas. People will forget what you said, maybe forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That is something worth holding on to and remembering because that is the truth. Hey, Stephen in Atlanta. Johnny, how are you doing in Marietta, Georgia? All right, guys, thanks for being here again. I appreciate it. More details on my self-direction class coming up very soon. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning.